The alleged bully, Hiro Mikoshiba, turns up dead. There is no mistaking the motive in his murder. As Yagami looks into the heart of the matter, a suicide 4 years prior, he is met with brutal backlash from the underworld. Why does Yagami face resistance at every turn? As night falls over Ichincho, the answer slips further into darkness.
Authorities announced that they have identified the body as Hiro Mikoshiba, a student teacher at Seirio High School. Autopsy reports indicate the cause of death was blood loss from a sharp object. Mikoshiba was reported as a missing person 2 months ago in October.
What's the plan today, fellas?
I figure I'll head back to Seirio High today. I should check in on Sawa-sensei, see how she's holding up.
She's got a lot on her shoulders now, huh?
Right from the outset, Sawa-sensei flat out denied that Mikoshiba ever bullied Toshiro Hara. But then we learned she confronted him about his actions 4 years ago. Which means she was starting to suspect he was the bully.
Then some chicken shades shows up, makes some threats, and suddenly Teach's lips are sealed shut, huh?
Whoever she was, she has to be involved with the murder. How else could she have Mikoshiba's picture from right before he died?
Okay. But what gets me is, why would Sawa-sensei change her answer like that?
Guess we'll have to ask her directly if we really want to know.
Yeah, but didn't she make it pretty clear you need to keep your distance?
What kind of a detective would I be if I gave up because of that?
I saw it on the news earlier. Mikoshiba-sensei was killed. But you already knew that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I figured you knew something.
Guess that's why you've been asking about him. You should have told us, man.
I couldn't. I knew how hard you guys would have taken it.
You know who did it? I mean a lot for us to know. Seeing how he looked after us and all.
We're still in the dark about that mostly. Unless you guys have any leads. All we have to go on is he was probably killed soon after he stopped going to class.
So, he really was murdered.
Oh, what did Sawa-sensei tell you? She give you anything solid?
Nah, we didn't really get into it yesterday. Way too many, other things came up.
Damn. It's just... It's hard hearing all this, man. Will you at least keep us posted if you find out anything?
No promises, I'm afraid. But hey, I'm glad you guys are warming up to me.
I'm Matsui, by the way.
That's more like it. Hey, Tsukumo, it's me. You think you could pin down where Mikoshiba's body was discovered?
Of course. In fact, I can do that pretty quickly. Why? Did you want to go there now?
That's the idea.
Okay, here we go. They found Mikoshiba's body in an abandoned building near Sakura River. It's near a small park. On the second floor of the building, specifically. The first floor is just a bunch of empty boutiques.
Locked. So now we're going to have to Nathan Drake our way up there. Aha! An open window. I can use it to sneak in. I need something to give me a boost if I'm going to climb up there. Let's see if I can find something. What the hell? While climbing a wall, move L stick and press circle to jump to another section of the wall. Just act like we've never played Uncharted before or something. Alright, into the building. I said... Oh crap! Crap!
Hello? Anybody here? Coming through.
Ready or not, here I come. Oh wait, that's hide and seek, my bad.
Now where exactly was the body? There's gotta be some clues that'll give me that.
Maybe the blood stain on the floor? Just a guess. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that you know, large blood stain on the floor. That might be a pretty big clue, if I do say so myself, you know. But what do I know? I'm not the detective.
Huh?
Hey, I heard something. Who's there? Who are you and what were you up to? Takayuki Yagami. The Yagami Detective Agency.
Yeah, in Kamurocho.
Weren't you the guy at Seirio yesterday? I could have sworn I saw your face there.
Huh? Maybe.
The name's Watanabe. Kanagawa PD Division 1. Charmed, I'm sure. This fella here is Sakurai.
Sup?
You wouldn't happen to be working with Genda Law, would you?
Huh?
You hear on Shirosaki-sensei's business? Saori Shirosaki, right? The grouchy one.
Okay, how'd you know?
Well, it started when Mikoshiba's body turned up. Once our investigation kicked off, we found out about that pervert cop in Tokyo. Seems he knew where the body would be. But when we went to go see him, HQ pumped the brakes. They said no interviews on this one. Much to our amusement, we ended up being directed to Shirosaki, the perv's lawyer. So being that Genda Law office is in Kamurocho, and you're a Kamurocho detective working your case, that means either the two of you are connected, or I'm really losing my touch.
Well, you've certainly got my number. Now that you know, how about taking these cuffs off?
Smooth, but the jury's still out on you, pal. First, you got any thoughts on all that?
On anything specific?
The part about HQ locking us out of interviewing a Hara, smart guy. Here we are with a material witness who, it turns out, knew about a corpse rotting away for 2 months. And those Tokyo chuckleheads just shut us out. Balls even for those tight asses.
Ihara was Tokyo PD, so wouldn't they want to protect him? They probably want it handled discreetly.
Nah, if only it were that simple. This isn't about protection. They'd get burnt real bad if they tried to bury this shit under the rug. Besides, not only is this cop a nasty creep, he's got ties to a fucking murder. Another prefecture blows the lid on that, the top brass may as well kiss their jobs goodbye. Heads will roll. They've got to wash the shit stains off their laundry to keep their asses clean.
Yeah, I could see how that makes sense.
Anyway, so HQ told us their boys would look into Ihara. What we had to do was hand them our notes on the murder. Can you believe that crap? I was gonna take you down to the station, put the squeeze on you. But if you're a half-decent detective, maybe we could collaborate.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you came all the way from Kamurocho to sniff around here, right? I highly doubt you found much. But tell me something I don't know and maybe the cuffs will fall off.
Okay. How about this?
What the hell?
Hiro Mikoshiba. Was this taken here? Right before he died?
Where did you get this? What kind of shit you trying to pull?
I could tell you better with the cuffs off.
You're craftier than I thought. Fine, let him loose. So, this woman you're talking about must have had it in with the culprits. You know, they were working in a group.
That's quite a revelation. What makes you so sure about that?
Mikoshiba was last seen alive 2 months ago, October 7th, 6:30 a.m. He was talking to his mother as he exited their house back in the city. Since there were no other sightings of him, it's likely he was abducted a short ways from his home. This had to be done by vehicle, as common sense would tell us. So there must have been at least 2 suspects, a driver and a handler. If it were me, I'd have put 3 on the job.
So that's why you figured it was a group effort. Sounds logical to me.
Mm-hmm. Now, according to the autopsy report, they found food in the poor guy's stomach. Based on how digested it was, we can assume he was killed at least an hour after breakfast, putting it around 7:30. And not long after, he was brought here. His throat was slit with a knife. And what was our friend Ehara doing at that time? The old perv was walking through Ikebukuro's ticket gates around 7:43 a.m. This was stated in court and corroborated by multiple security tapes.
But if that's true, he couldn't possibly have killed Mikoshiba. It's 30 kilometers between here and Ikebukuro.
Yeah, that's the meat of his alibi. Yet somehow he knew Mikoshiba's body would be discovered 2 months after his arrest, despite being in custody the whole time. So there's no doubt he's connected to the killers. If we just put the screws to him, he'd squeal. Damn it, HQ! Why the hell are we out here working the site if it's already been picked clean?
All right, Nabe-san. Deep breaths.
Yeah. But do you see why we've got to get someone in to talk to Ehara? Hell, beg Shirosaki-sensei for a visit if you have to. HQ can't say squat about his attorney visiting. What? What's wrong?
Somebody's spying on us with binoculars.
No shit?
3 men, 30s probably. The one with binoculars is wearing a black jacket. My number's on my card!
Yagami!
Hey, wait up! Hold up!
Damn, hotshot. You're quick on your feet. So let's hear why this fool had eyes on us.
He claims he just wanted to see the scene for himself.
So you were here gawking, is that it? Better than busting in like you own the place.
I thought that was water under the bridge.
So, who are you? Why'd you run?
I ran because I saw a cop jump out a window and charge at me.
You have any ID on you?
Will my license work?
Kake-san, age 30. Says here you have a Tokyo address. What brings you to Yokohama?
Oh, well, I'm organizing a class reunion.
What high school did you all attend?
Kurakawa Academy. A private school in Tokyo. Hey! Over here!
Only to verify your buddy's identification as well. I suggest you all cooperate.
Alright, you jokers are free to go. Appreciate you being so civil. Guess that settles it. We're just dumbass rubberneckers. Tough break, huh? After all you went through chasing them down.
I don't mind. My motto's to always swing for the fences.
Yeah, well, your strikeout was pretty amusing. The guy who goes down swinging is alright in my book.
Hello?
Yagami-san, do you have a minute? It's Shirosaki.
Oh, I was just about to call you. I was gonna say, I've got some leads on the murder. By the way, you wouldn't happen to know a Detective Watanabe, would you? From Kanagawa PD?
Oh, yes. He came asking me about the harassment case. Apparently he couldn't interview Ehara, so he got us instead.
By the way, when's your next appointment with Ehara?
As soon as we're ready, honestly. Did you want to come along?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. But I'd like to do a bit more research beforehand. I want to know exactly how Ehara's crime played out.
Funny you should say that. Hoshino-kun just told me he's going to reinspect the crime scene tomorrow. He said it'd be best to plot Ehara's movement from Ikebukuro all the way to Shinjuku, where he was caught.
No kidding. Then I ought to go with.
Okay, see that sign right there? Ehara was leaning on that before the incident. Yep, just like that. Ehara's the man in the cap and sunglasses.
So, Ehara was lingering at the platform a while, huh?
Yeah, he walked past the ticket gate at 7:43 a.m. This was confirmed by the security tapes, as well as when he swiped his transit card.
After that, he wandered the platform an entire hour ogling women.
He spent that long choosing a target?
Yeah. Sick, isn't it? At 9:06 a.m., Ihara finally honed in on his would-be victim. Then he boarded her train, which was departing for Shinjuku.
She's the one in the pink cardigan and white skirt?
Yeah, Yui Mamiya, an office worker and mother of a 6-year-old boy. The two of them show up on the train's interior cam as well. According to the victim's statement, Ihara began by rubbing her posterior with the back of his hand. But it didn't stop there. After that, he put his hand up her skirt.
Pretty sickening.
I'm assuming he targeted someone shy, thinking she wouldn't resist. Makes me angry just thinking about it. The victim stated she was too scared to call for help, meaning she endured this for 6 minutes until the train reached its stop in Shinjuku.
Can you send what you just showed me to my phone?
Sure. Now let's head to Shinjuku Station. Then we can watch as the jerk gets busted. Ihara and Mamiya-san both exited the train and got onto the platform here. But right before that, Mamiya-san suddenly grabbed Ihara's wrist and yanked his hand out from under her skirt. That's when she got a good look at her assailant.
So without a doubt, she saw it was him.
Yes, and there were also traces of her garments on his hand during evidence analysis. Anyway, after being grabbed, Ihara wrenched himself free and took off at a sprint.
Was there any security footage that wasn't aired on TV?
Sure, take a look around you. There's more than just one camera pointed at us. They're practically everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
As for what I was saying earlier, Ihara was finally tackled right in front of those stairs. Oh, right. I have a diagram of the platform to show you.
So Ihara gets off the train here, and then gets apprehended here. How far apart is that?
Roughly 100 meters. Both he and the victim were weaving their way through the crowd.
You think we could get the positions of all these cameras and where they're pointing penciled in?
Good idea. Now we'll pencil in the camera locations and what directions they're pointing. So this was the general situation when Ihara committed his crime. What do you think, Yagami-san? Anything of note?
Safe to say he did it. But on the same day, he knew his son's bully would be murdered in Ijincho. Pretty clear it wasn't a spontaneous need to grab some ass.
I agree. It's almost like all the commotion around the harassment might have been planned out. Maybe everything was, even down to getting captured.
Yeah. You really played everyone by turning harassment into an alibi for murder. No matter how much evidence points to him as a killer, you can deny it with complete immunity.
This is getting crazier by the minute.
At the very least, he had something to do with it. Some connection. But I can't imagine he'll talk. Whatever his plan is, it's pretty clear Ihara is committed.
To what? Getting revenge for his son?
I think so.
Who do you think his accomplices could be? Ihara is a veteran cop. Think maybe he knows how to hire an actual assassin? If so, he could have just paid for his revenge, right?
Sure. But assassins cost an arm and a leg. He wasn't rich before all this, was he?
No. He barely scraped up enough to cover his lawsuit against the school.
Thought so.
Hey, it's Shiosaki.
What's up, Sari-san?
I'm scheduling an interview with Ihara tomorrow at the Tokyo Detention Center. We'll take a taxi from Genda's if that all works for you.
Sounds good. But I need to head back to Ijincho for now.
Something you forgot to do?
Yeah. It involves Ihara's motive, which would be without a doubt his son's suicide. So I want to confirm if Mikoshiba really bullied the kid. And the best person to ask happens to be down in Ijincho. Got a minute?
No, not for you. I really have nothing more to say.
What if I told you it's looking more and more likely Ihara-san had a hand in Mikoshiba's death?
Well, it doesn't concern me.
Ihara-san believes Mikoshiba tormented Toshiro-kun so badly that he took his own life. But neither the third-party investigation nor the courts were on his side. So what's the truth here? You know, don't you? What really happened between Mikoshiba and Toshiro-kun? Why won't you tell me the truth?
Why do you keep asking? I said I don't know!
I'm going to the detention center tomorrow to get some answers out of Ihara-san.
What?
I saw where Mikoshiba was murdered. He endured no shortage of cruelty before he died. They tortured him, you know. They broke all his fingers before they slit his throat.
No.
And somehow Ihara-san knew Mikoshiba would be killed on the day he got caught for groping. It's like he did it to prove he had nothing to do with the murder. But maybe that wasn't his real objective at all. If I'm gonna face him tomorrow, I can't go in without some ammunition. So, 4 years ago, did Mikoshiba bully Toshiro-kun or not? That's all I want to know.
My answer won't change. There's no evidence Mikoshiba-kun did anything wrong.
Are you sure about that? Take a look at this.
That's...
Toshiro Ihara, your student. Imagine that he's listening to what you're saying now. If you can look at him and say Mikoshiba played no part in his death, I'll leave you alone. In fact, you'll never hear a word from me again. So which is it?
4 years ago. Not long after I'd transferred here to teach English. That's when it started. One day, after school, I was out on the roof taking a break, when Toshiro-kun suddenly ran by. I called out to him to ask what was wrong, but he shushed me and kept running. I saw he had a bloody nose. Moments later, Mikoshiba-kun showed up. He was looking for him. I told him I hadn't seen him. Toshiro-kun's face told me everything I needed to know.
So Mikoshiba was bullying him after all.
Yes. Toshiro-kun told me this later on. Whenever he'd leave school with Mikoshiba-kun and his friends, they'd force him to hand over money. At first, they'd try to pass it off as a joke. They said since he lowered the class average on tests, he ought to buy them all drinks as an apology. And Mikoshiba-kun, he was having too much fun with it to stop. He started offering tutoring sessions to Toshiro-kun. Only so he and his crew could extract their tuition from him. They'd even break into his house while his mother was at work and take the money she left him for dinner. And if he couldn't pay, they'd beat him up at school or make him grovel in the bathroom.
Didn't anybody see what was really happening?
The teachers either saw nothing or turned a blind eye. Few students knew about it, though. Anyway, I ended up relaying everything Toshiro-kun had told me to those boys' homeroom teacher. Mind you, this teacher had tenure, title, and years of experience under his belt. Do you know what he told me? He said not to cause a commotion because those boys were about to graduate.
Why does that not surprise me?
To be honest, it was hard to paint such an outwardly model student in a negative light. There was also no hard evidence to support Toshiro-kun's story. On the first morning of the 3rd trimester, Toshiro-kun tied a towel to his doorknob and hung himself in his room.
And that's when you confronted Mikoshiba, right? You asked him point blank if he'd bullied him.
I did. Mikoshiba-kun pretended to know nothing. He was more careful, shaken even, from then on. In all honesty, when I heard a third-party committee was investigating, I was hoping the truth would come out. Students were asked to fill out an anonymous questionnaire. and many of them wrote down exactly what they saw.
Hold on. Didn't the court end up declaring there was no substantial evidence of bullying? How could they have said that with those questionnaires on hand?
First of all, the committee never interviewed anyone directly. Those questionnaires were the only proof of anything. And the teacher of those boys was the one who collected them. Each time he came across any mention of bullying, he'd toss that questionnaire out. Also, he wouldn't get blamed in the end for ignoring the warning signs.
So then the committee was pointless.
A few students did speak up about the bullying online, but their posts weren't much to go on. Toshiro-kun's parents were completely caught off guard. His mother worked through the day, and his father lived all the way in Tokyo. That made it that much easier for the teacher to cover up all the evidence of bullying. He made that statement without even consulting the principal or the chairman. So, right before Mikoshiba-kun graduated, the committee presented their findings, that there was no evidence of bullying. The conclusion you've heard over and over.
What the hell?
But Ehara-san wasn't satisfied with those findings, so he sued Seiryo High, demanding compensation for Toshiro-kun's death. As the trial dragged on, I was eventually called to the witness stand. Of course, my intention was to let everything I knew out into the open. But before that could happen, that damn teacher came with the school's attorney to see how I would testify.
They didn't want you making them look bad, huh?
Of course not. That's when I first learned what he did with those incriminating questionnaires. They had no choice but to reveal everything to me, to try and sway me to their side. I guess they were just that desperate. After all, I was the only adult who Toshiro-kun confided in. I don't think he'd spoken to his parents about it once. So yes, that's why there was never any objective evidence of bullying. It wasn't like I had a mind to record our conversations. And I hadn't personally witnessed it either. The school attorney saw fit to remind me that the law says innocent until proven guilty. And if I couldn't produce tangible evidence, then I shouldn't be accusing Mikoshiba-kun.
So it was witness tampering. That is, they coerced you into false testimony?
What I should have done was told the truth regardless. But what else could I have really done for him? Some days I just don't know. As much as I've tried to convince myself I did everything I could for him, I can never fully believe it.
So what happened to the teacher who covered all this up?
He transferred to another school. God, to think he's still standing at a podium somewhere.
That's unfortunate. In that case, Mikoshiba's bullying of Toshiro, or those questionnaires getting discarded, have you ever told anyone else?
No. I've been silent. Back when I was a student in high school, I witnessed bullying firsthand. There was this kid. My classmates pushed him too far. And one day he just jumped off the roof.
Off the roof?
By some miracle, he survived the fall. And he's been in a coma for the last 13 years. Nobody knows if he'll ever wake up. His name is Mitsuru, and he may never open his eyes to the world again. His mom watches him, but she works full-time. She's a higher-up in the government.
I'm sorry to hear it.
The worst part is that his teacher knew. He even talked to the bullies about it. But all he said was, don't overdo it. But afterward, the public eviscerated him. He had to quit his teaching job. And yet, for poor Toshiro-kun, nobody was held responsible at all. And that includes me.
But if anyone was going to take responsibility for that, Mikoshiba should have been first in line. I'm sure Ehara-san must have thought the same thing.
You know what I wanted to be as a kid? I was so innocent, I wanted to be a teacher. And after Mitsuru-kun's tragedy, I felt practically obligated. And still, I just let history repeat itself.
What is going on? Having a party?
Heads up.
Now make yourself at home. Not that you haven't already.
Who, me? Well, whatever do you mean?
Koana's fine. He just swung by to have a chat with you, man. Not that I mind hanging out over beers and shogi.
What do you want with me?
Check it out, Yagami-san. You're only here to get to the bottom of that Hiro Mikoshiba kid's murder, right? That's gotta be the reason the Yokohama Liumang attacked you, isn't it? All I'm saying is that you've gotta cut me in, man.
Thanks, but I've got enough help.
So some hotshot detective strolls into town and tries to leave the local guy out in the cold? No offense, but that's not gonna fly.
You gonna play your turn? Just finish your game and go home already.
I'm not about to sit here and let some outsider swoop in and take all the credit alone. And that means I guess I'm gonna chill here until you give me the nod.
It's Tsukumo and Sugiura's place as far as I'm concerned. Not even my call to make.
I welcome having more company. The more the merrier. That'll be the agency motto.
I don't really care.
Such a nice office. I'm gonna love it here.
Yagamishi, guess what? The internet picked up on the Ihara link to Mikoshiba. The trending sentiment is that he killed him in an act of vengeance for his son.
They've already figured that part out? So the news is blowing up on the net, huh?
In internet terms, this is only the first spark that could ignite into a fire. Not even what I'd call viral.
Then who's lighting the spark? The people responsible for Mikoshiba's murder?
I'll have to go down a few more rabbit holes before I can make that call, I'm afraid.
Gotcha.
That said, some posts are kinda suspicious. This one here, for instance. Ihara totally called the location of the body at his trial. The fact that he did that never really even went public, as far as I can tell.
Fellas, I told you I wanted to be kept in the loop on this stuff. You saying Mikoshiba had more than one killer? And where are they now? You think these lunatics are still hanging around Ijincho?
It's been over 2 months already, man. If they were here, they're probably long gone by now. Another peaceful day in Ijincho, right? Check outside.
It's the Liumang. The White Mask again.
Let's go, Chuck!
I'll catch you later.
Not bad.
You're not getting away this time! Oh, great. Where am I? You lure me here?
Don't worry, man. I'm not planning on killing you tonight.
Okay, but why else would you take off the mask?
Because from this point forward, Ijincho is closed. You won't be coming back. I'm Tesso. For what it's worth, I'm an officer candidate of the Yokohama Liumang. I hear you took out some of my masked boys the other day.
Oh, you mean those guys who thought they could sneak up on me in the afternoon?
Maybe if you hadn't resisted at the time, you'd be in a lot less pain than you're about to be in the near future.
Who's paying you to try to take me down?
This is a job that came down from the top of the org. I don't know who hired us, and to be honest, I don't give a shit either. But ripping up a kick-ass detective like you sure sounds like a good time. None of you guys make a move! I want to see if the rumors are true, so I get first taste. Show me what you got. Yagami!
Shit, Kaso!
What happened to standing still?
Look out below!
Running a little late tonight, aren't we, Kaito-san?
Yagami!
Yeah? You want something? What was it? Tesso?
Just want to say, I'm impressed. I wasn't expecting you to take out all these guys, to be honest.
Thanks. But if you're feeling generous, how about you tell me who hired you?
Didn't I say this before? I got no interest in doing that.
Sugiura!
Yagamishi! Oh, thank God you're back.
Tsukumo, what happened?
He's knocked out cold. Damn it.
Masked men attacked us. I couldn't fight them.
Masked men, you say? Were they any different from what the Liumang wear?
I couldn't get a good look. Sugiurashi, they stuck up on him with a bat and came after me next. They got me. My pinky.
They broke it? Hey, are you okay?
I'll call an ambulance.
There are these photos and a message I was told to give to you, Yagamishi. They said to tell you, this is your final warning.
They've been spying on me?
It hurts.
Shit. If they want me, then come after me.
Tuck, I think the Liumang were part of the plan, as bait. They probably only came to lure us away from the office. The worst part is it fucking worked!
This camera ought to show everyone coming in and out of the building. There were 7 of them, and they didn't have those trademark white masks. So clearly, they're not Liumang.
They must have got the white masks to lure us out, meaning they're the ones calling the shots here. Wouldn't surprise me if they were also Ihara's accomplices to murder.
That'd be something.
Though, it's hard to believe a single murder could involve so many people.
Really? Why do you say that?
More friends, more loose lips. One slip of the tongue can bring down an entire group. Taking a man's life would require absolute solidarity from every single member. What could be their connection? This footage is the lead we've been waiting for. Now we're gonna hunt them down for Tsukumo and Sugiura.
You get hit in the head or something? Find them and they'll mess your ass up.
Will they?
Don't you get it? They were planning to take you out, man. The Liumang letting you off is nothing short of a miracle. Or would you rather risk your neck over nothing?
Where we come from, risking our necks the bare minimum. You Jinsho guys must not see much action.
Yeah, well, in Jinsho, a handyman's wages don't cover life and limb.
I don't recall ever hiring you.
Yeah, and if you asked me now, I'd say hell no. This shit's getting way too over my head. And yours.
Hold on a minute, Todd.
What?
I'm noticing a lot more punks scurrying around than normal. Something's up.
Hey, don't I know you two? You're detectives around here, ain't you?
Yeah, so what?
You ever seen this guy before? A few years ago, he was the manager at some girls' bar nearby. All I care about is him up and vanishing out of nowhere.
So he's a missing person? Since when?
5 years ago.
I mean, disappearing from Kamurocho isn't that uncommon. 5 years? What do you really expect to find? Information has a price. It's our bread and butter, so we don't give handouts.
How about I butter your brains on the sidewalk?
Gaita-san.
Huh? It's Akutsu. First name Daimu.
You know him?
Former Tojo clan guy, ex-Yakuza.
Ex-Yakuza? Well, if you say so.
Yagami Detective Agency. Maybe I ought to just hire you guys for this. We're looking for a guy. You heard, didn't you?
This guy you're after, he was some kind of girls' bar manager here in town? I take it this manhunt is your idea?
Nah. Soma's taking point on this one. Came from one of his connections.
And Soma is?
He's the one in charge of the RK gang. Of course, he's former Tojo clan too. First name Kazuki.
That's crazy. Did the whole Tojo clan join this thing?
If there's someone disrespecting you, you might as well go get the jump on him. I would walk right up and stick him in the gut. You wouldn't even see it coming, detective. Yeah? So don't go disrespecting me. There won't be a warning next time.
RK? What does the acronym stand for?
Who the hell knows? Civilian punks who want quick cash are easy recruits. RK's happy to scoop them up. Next thing you know, you've got an asshole army.
That's unfortunate, but speaking of the Tojo clan, have you talked to Higashi lately?
Yeah. As far as ex-Tojo clan guys go, he's one of the good ones. The family left him in charge of that arcade, and now that they're gone, he's basically the owner.
Oh, Saori-san. Yagami-san made it.
Sorry for the wait. I ran into some typical nonsense. We good to go?
Oh, I thought you'd lost already. So, what more could my lawyers want from me here?
Well, normally I would say the same. However, a corpse turned up as you said it would. It turns out you have a penchant for prophecy, Ihara-san.
Prophecy, huh? Kinda dramatic. No Hoshino today? Did you fire the poor guy?
Yagami's my name, sir. In a past life, I used to work with Kenda and Saori-san. But today, I'm at Serio High School in a contract advisory role for one of their clubs.
Serio High School?
It's the same school Toshiro-kun went to 4 years ago. You'd know it. I happened to be out there working a separate case. But that was when Shirosake-sensei called, and so that's why I'm here.
Well, well. Okay. Why are you here, then?
That'd be obvious at this point, I'd think. As you know, Mikoshiba turned up as you said. His body was found in a warehouse. The question is, why did you know that well enough to proclaim it in court?
You might say it was a miracle. I wished hard enough for it to come true, and suddenly it did.
Care to tell us why you'd wish for a miracle like that?
Do you really need me to explain why?
Mikoshiba. You blame him for Toshiro-kun's death, don't you?
I do.
Even though when you took the school to court, no evidence turned up. A third-party investigation found no bullying occurred, didn't it?
At school, Mikoshiba tortured my son. He would beat him up, and then he'd demand all his money. That damn kid was a star student with high grades. My son's own class wouldn't stand up to him. To avoid being beaten, Toshiro used to. He'd steal money from me or his mother to make sure he could pay Mikoshiba off.
Ahara-san, you seem to know a lot about what happened to your son. Do you have any proof?
Would I have lost if I did? That school can rot in hell for all I care. Speaking of, you know what I'm convicted for. It was being a pervert. I admit to everything. I groped a businesswoman's ass in plain sight on a full train. There's no way I'm fighting for an appeal. So as for my defense, I'm in no need of lawyers anymore.
Ahara-san, just a second.
Why would I give you that?
Yagami-san?
Hiro Mikoshiba died in a lot of pain. His final moments were truly horrific. The last thing he felt must have been fear. After slitting his throat, his body was left to rot.
Doesn't that sound great?
You remember Sawa-sensei, yes? She transferred to Serio 4 years ago, not long before your son passed away.
Yeah, not a face I'd soon forget. She told the whole court he was never bullied. And it's not just her I detest. The administrators, the lawyers. It felt like choking the life right out of them. But if anyone needed to pay, it was Mikoshiba. He got what he deserved. It's nothing short of insane that they were just gonna let him get a teaching credential. It all comes back to a flawed and broken system of laws that has no business calling itself justice.
Then it was you, wasn't it? You orchestrated every aspect of how Mikoshiba would die. But you didn't act alone. Who were the people behind it? How'd you convince them to kill a man?
That's a good one. You, my friend, are way off.
The way that interview went, Ahara's definitely guilty. But if we can't connect him to the murders, we're left with no leads to follow.
Yeah. Kept that secret on lockdown, no matter what I asked. What could possibly link Ahara to those men? Damn it. And I was so close, too. To think they're still somewhere in Ijincho. I need to find them before the trail goes cold. Kaito-san, I'm back. Kaito-san?
Hey, did you see that email from Tsukumo?
Huh?
It wasn't that long ago. It's something you gotta see, though.
What is it? Something happened?
It's the murder footage. Mikoshiba's murder ended up on the internet. It's going viral on all the social media sites.
You gotta forgive me. I'll do anything you want. I didn't know he'd do it. I swear. Toshiro-kun was okay. I didn't know he'd kill himself. I really didn't know. I swear I'll try to make it up to him somehow. I'll spend the rest of my life making up for it. Stop it.
What the hell?
Stop it. Stop it.
Ahara has an alibi for this, doesn't he? They already found him guilty, and that's the whole reason he couldn't have killed Mikoshiba, right? But if that's the case, what the hell is this? One way or another, Either this thing is staged, or his entire alibi was a massive cover-up. They can't both be true. But there's something I just can't shake. If you want my opinion on it, this looks real.
I need to have another chat with O'Hara. Damn it. I'm not gonna let him get away with this.